Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's a Littlefinger. Going to be doing a full tank review here on the Turtle Mark 1. It just came out in stores today. Crates only, had to drop 20,000 gold to get it. Way, way, way too much for this tank. Um, Kind of a cross between the Badger at tier 10 and the British heavy tanks. Not willing to say it's as good as the Badger, but definitely better than those AT tanks. So let's just go ahead and look at the stats. Unfortunately, I can't use Blitz stars because a lot of their stats are just a little bit wrong. There must have been some changes right before this tank came out. Appears to be for the better. So you've got 1,400 hit points in the tank itself, and what I like about the tank is the armor. 152 on the front, 127 on the side, 76 on the rear. Um, Damage per minute, 2,900. Granted, I'm running gun rammer on this, so that improves that to 2,900. Reload time just shy of 7 seconds. You've got 232 pen on AP, APCR 263, and 54 on high explosives. Average damage 330. So it does pack a pretty good punch for a tank. One of the good things that you need to really try to use is your 10 degrees of gun depression. 20 degrees left and right. Obviously, this is a non-turreted TD, so you've 40 degrees total in which you can move your gun without resetting your camo. The downside here, 20 kilometers per hour as your forward fastest speed, and it takes a while to get up to that 20 kilometers per hour. Luckily here they did increase the non-modified hull turn rate to 34, so you still get COD'd in this tank, but you can battle with this at 34. It was supposed to come out, I believe, at 26. Um, so let's look at how else I've got this set up. Repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions, you can see I'm running pudding and tea and both of the fuels. Obviously, that's to try to make this tank just that much more faster. I don't think you have to worry so much about the protective kit. Haven't really had too much crew damage. Ammo rack a few times. Damage, not exploded. So it's not a huge problem. And as far as ammo goes, I'm running 30, 14, and 6, making sure we're buying our APCR with credits there, 4,000 per round. I didn't really like the HE pen number, which is another reason why when we get into the equipment here that I'm running gun rammer. For most TDs that have a high HE pen, you're going to get 10% additional pen by running calibrated shells. And so that usually, like if you're sitting at 80, 90, or 100 and you're getting 10% of that, that's a bigger number, obviously, than the 5. So I felt like the pen numbers were decent, and therefore I could run that gun rammer and get our damage per minute up to 2,900. Again, defense system, not really seeing the need for improved modules just yet. Really, for improved modules, you want to run those on tanks that get damaged, tracks, fuel tank, ammo rack, quite a bit, and certainly light tanks that get rammed. Running the camouflage net, I think, or I should have been. Enhanced gun lane drive. Right now I'm running enhanced armor. I play around with this. Only 84 additional hit points, whereas we've got really good armor. So to me, it makes more sense to get that 4% additional. Running engine accelerator, again, because I think the turret traverse speed is decent. This helps out with your power to rate, your engine horsepower, and your hull traverse. Whereas we can get this up to 35. It's 1 degree per second difference versus getting more power and faster acceleration. Vertical stabilizer, enhanced tracks, and consumable delivery system. Alright guys, Armor Inspector. It's really important to know how to effectively angle this tank, so Armor Inspector here is really, really useful. As you can see, I've got this lined up with a shooter of a T-44 with regular AP. Let's see if it changes anything with APCR. No, not really. That tank's got to get high above you and use, an a better angle to get into the front plate there. Obviously, the lower plate is going to be appendable with only 128 millimeters, as is the side if he can get around there. But what I want to point out is this tank can angle pretty well. You've got 20 degrees here. So if we were to put that kind of in the middle, look at this armor profile here. If we can just lean it back a little bit, use that gun depression, basically outside of this lower plate here, this tank is a beast against a tier 8 medium tank. But let's take a look and let's put this with an IS-3 running premium ammo at you, right? We start to see some green here if you're flat, so make sure you're angled this, and again, you know, using that 20 degrees and 10 degrees of gun depression, those are the kind of places on the map that you really want to find yourself to be able to effectively use this armor, because you don't have the mobility here to avoid getting shot. So you really got to hunt out those good positions on the map, and when we pull up an ISU, just forget it. You know, there's not a whole lot you can do to protect this tank against a tier 8 and up TD with really good pen. So that is the downside, the lack of mobility here. So you really got to pick out your spots on the map and know where to go. Alright guys, Desert Sands, first battle here. This is Supremacy. We've got a Chimera, a low, T49, TVP, FV, ISU. Alright, so we've looked at the enemy lineup. This is a tank that, while I would prefer to be in the hills, because I know that I can find some mounds to, as we talked about there in the Armor Inspector, use use that good gun depression of 10 degrees and angle this tank and hide that lower plate. When we go into the town, you know, it's going to be really difficult for us to hide that lower plate. So we see the Lovak here trying to get away from this KV-4, so we're going to get a shot lined up on him. And there it is, into the tracks, 340, and we're going to get some nice little assistant damage from shooting the tracks. Now, this KV-4, he kept coming into my games, and not necessarily a bad player, but his and my thinking just did not line up, and we lost quite a few battles together. I wasn't too particularly happy with him. We'll go ahead and finish off the Lava here. And now, one of the things that this tank obviously does really well in, and another way to hide that lower plate, is to face hug tanks, right? And we're just tracking them here, getting in extra damage. Now, I've got this, the M6 with me and the KV-4 right behind me, so I'm thinking, all right, let's push right on through here and, you know, kind of flank up on the TVP and the ISU. Well, if you look at the minimap, what are they doing? They're taking the long way round. And this is my fault. I should have watched that on the map, and I shouldn't have been this aggressive, because I am just going to get flanked and frigging annihilated here. And so I wanted to bring this game to your attention just because, you know, I've done decent damage here at 1700, but if you don't have support from your team, and I'm like, where are the rest of my guys? But you can see they went the long way around, and there was nobody there to stop them from pushing on me. So keep that in mind. It's a tank that's very situational and team dependent because of its lack of mobility. And you know, I just let this KV-4, as he gets pretty lucky here, not to die. He's turning around and giving his butt to the Tiger behind him. Yeah, we're just going to fast forward to the end here. That game was over before I hit the battle button. 1700 damage, 34,000, got 1 kill. As you can see, not a lot of help from the team there. All right, guys. As you can see, KV4 back on the team again. Um, and then looking at their team, they've got 2 heavies, mediums, and some TDs, right? Castilla is a map where you have to split. Well, I shouldn't say that. You don't necessarily have to split, but it is a map that has way too many sniping positions. That if you don't have spotters on both sides of the map, it can be extremely challenging to win. Granted, if we'd maybe all pushed together and went around on this map together, it might have been different. But you know, I was hoping that one of our heavies would go onto the windmill side and get some spots. At this point in time, I'm trying just to get back to our team. You know, and the SU is saying, come on guys, you gotta spot that hill. And he's absolutely right. And what makes this game a little bit more challenging now is that they've got a medium that went into the middle, so I'm spotted up. And as you can see, getting shot from the windmill. Still spotted. We're just trying to keep our armor to them. You know, maybe if I'd have paid a little bit more attention to the mini-map, I should have just given up on the T-28 Defender and the Annihilator over there. But I'm thinking maybe I can get some shots into here. We've got the Emil there. And you'll see here that the tank does not do extremely well with long-distance shots. So I'm trying just to stay behind this bush as much as I can, not get spotted, and waiting this period. There's just a downside, and if you look at the mini map, the KV4 is all the way on the left, flanking through, trying to cross the bridge, but he's got some resistance over there with the medium. None of them pushed. They're all in good defensive positions, and we're kind of stuck out here in the open. The Annihilator's going to get spot on. The SU is like, come on guys, we got to get spots or else, you know, this game's over. I'm too slow to do anything. So again, this is going to be another lost game. But I felt like in a tank like this, you know, there's not a lot that you can do because of your lack of mobility. And you see how easily these guys pen me. A T-28 Defender. And I'm having to shoot APCR. And that's it. That's the game. You know, it ended pretty bad. 5-0. I didn't do great, but that's, to me, that's the situation with this tank and its lack of mobility. Alright guys, Desert Sands here. Supremacy. It's tough with big maps like this. But again, as I was saying, I don't mind playing this tank in the hills. Good gun depression. The tank has much better effective armor if we can angle the tank backwards and increase the slope. But 20 kilometers per hour is so painful. And that's why I say this is no Badger. The Badger's 30. And while 30 isn't great, it's a lot better than 20. This tank could have been a lot better had it had, you know, 26, 28 kilometers per hour. It's just really slow to get into positions. Lovely. Gotta love those 0 damage track shots. We'll break his track again. Hopefully he doesn't have another repair kit and he's going to go down quickly. But I do like the tank here a little bit better with the calibrated shells and being able to reload just that much faster. And remember again, as we talked about in the armor inspector section, you're going to have much more effective armor if you can maximize your angling of the gun left and right to that full 20 degrees. You've got decent armor on the side, so that really increases your effective armor on the front and the sides by angling it. Thought I'd try this nice long shot here, and we just barely missed. You know, so again, it's a tank that's going to struggle if you've got enemy tanks on multiple sides. Keep this guy in place. Nope, did not get the track shot. Keeping the SP1C in front of us. He's not even going to bother to shoot. He's going to try to run. And yeah, it looks like a long way for him to go. I maybe could have snapped one, but so this is the downside, right? The speed, and I hate to harp on it, but to me, this is why I hate the AT series tanks. They're just too slow. At least now you don't have a ginormous hatch that everyone can pen from the front that you can't hide at all. You just have the lower plate. Yeah, so I'm just going to speed this one up because it's a lot of driving here. And you'll look, the ISU, he just aims at us and it goes right through. Nothing you can do hiding your armor from the SU. It even hit on the slope plate. So, decent damage here. It was a level 1, 2,600, 74,000 credits. And we just pushed on through, right? Sitting back is not always your best option in this tank, just because if you watch your team die, you're going to be 1 on 4, 1 on 5, 1 on 6, 1 on 7, you know, and that's not effective use of this tank. Alright guys, so this is the last game I'm going to show. This is Hellas in Supremacy. Got some good heavies over here. And our Chimera, I don't know who's our other medium here. T-34-100. They're going to go up to C. You know, I can't, because of my 20 kilometers per hour, I can't hang with them. But I can get myself into a higher elevation position where I am looking down on people. And use this gun's 10 degrees of gun depression. But this is going to be interesting how this unfolds. As you can see, they've gone into B, which I would expect with a very nice set of heavy tanks over there. Love a 252U. But the Smasher and the T95E2 have pushed straight into my position. And so this is not good. I'm calling for help. I really need those two guys at C to get back here and help me out, because I have 2 tanks on 1. And Smasher goes through us, no problem. And look at that, we got bounced from the back. 1 shot in for help there, so that's good. I'm going to get the Smasher out here. And now we can face hug on the T95 and make it difficult for him. So, as I was saying, high elevations to hide that lower plate. And if you can't, then you face hug and make it really difficult for them to hit any weak spots. So now I'm hiding that lower plate behind the dead Smasher. Get a nice little fire there. We're up over 2,400 damage already. Can't let this guy pass, so we're just going to push hard against him. Finish off the SU. Look at this, we're at 2,900 damage already. But yeah, I'm a one-shot now to everybody on the team, so I gotta be pretty careful. These guys are not looking at me. Should have aimed that one a little bit more to the right, but 252 is just looking this way, so not worth it poking out. Look at that. Oh my god, that's horrible. Horrible dispersion. And then we can't track him. So all of our luck is gone now. They've all dropped down. These three have dropped down. 252U's alone. I was hoping that that T-34 would engage with him and keep him distracted. But no, he's thinking that he's just going to run away from the 252U, which, you know, can't really blame him. But I'm committed now. I'm too slow to retreat. So maybe I can get a shot in or two on this guy. Let's see what happens. Wait for him to come over, show that lower plate, and then we'll back around. Maybe we can get reloaded here. Track him, and look at that. He bounces. Another one into the lower plate. Let's hold him here in place. And like I was saying, guys, these upper cupola hatches here are certainly pinnable. I'm trying to put my gun in the way of his gun. And there's another one that goes in. There's another one. And he finally finishes me off. But not before we do 4,500 damage. We've held this guy up long enough for the rest of my team to finish this out. Cap points. And yeah, that finishes off as an ace mastery, which I'm obviously super happy to have. 96,000 credits. We were able to certainly carry the team in damage there. 17 shots. So overall, better than the AT series, not as good as the Badger at tier 10. Super slow, but good armor if you put it in the right situation. Certainly not worth 20,000 gold is what it cost me. But you know, it gives you a flavor of what this tank's about, and I'm sure a lot of you will probably buy the 3 crates for 2,500 gold and hope to get lucky. But only 4% drop chance. So guys, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.